Christmas review, Christmas review, Christmas review, Christmas review, Christmas review.
We lost that a bit, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did a bit. We did not rehearse it at all, if that's any consolation.
Mind you, we never do.
We never do, really. We just go for it.
Yeah.
So this is Captain X.
And Rogue One, hello.
We're reporting for the Doctor Who Christmas Special 2015.
The Husbands of River Song.
The Husbands of River Song. So what were your thoughts?
I liked it very much. I thought it was a nice sort of capstone to everything River and Doctor, and finally filled in the only thing that we really haven't seen of their various adventures apart from Jim the Fish, which is them going to the Singing Towers of Beryllium.
I thought it was very sad at the end.
It was.
But the whole thing was quite sad, really, because you told me something interesting about this episode.
Yeah, okay. So when Stephen Moffat wrote it, he didn't know whether or not he was going to come back and do the next series of Doctor Who, so he honestly thought when he was writing it, it could be the last thing he ever writes on Doctor Who, which is probably why when River's giving this speech about the Doctor and things, it sounds so impressive and things when she compares him to a sunset and a force of nature and something really primal and everything. You can almost feel like Stephen Moffat's talking about his own relationship to Doctor Who and how he views it, that yes, he's in charge of it for now, but Doctor Who will just keep on going and going, and ultimately it doesn't matter what he does because someone's always going to come along and take over.
I really enjoyed it. It was the whole thing, like it reminded me a little bit of the Lord of the Rings Return of the King, that last movie. Like the last 40 minutes of that, it's just so sad because you can tell everyone was really sad that stuff was kind of winding down. The whole thing just felt very sad.
And it was very much a two halves kind of episode. So the first half is very much a fun heist, and the second half is very much now we're going to do the serious, dramatic stuff and really get into things because we can. Because the big gag of the episode is this is River Song on one of her adventures, and she doesn't recognise the Doctor, which is the big sort of leap for it. Because hilariously, she has a wallet with a photo of all the different Doctors and all his faces, and not this one because she believes there are limits, and she believes the Doctor has limits because she apparently doesn't know what happened on Trenzor and things like that. So that was very interesting and fun, and the fact that the Doctor is basically a companion in one of her adventures.
I really liked that,
fun.
And I kept wondering, like, when is she going to work it out? Like when, and and then when she does, it's a lovely moment, and Peter Capaldi goes, "Hello, sweetie," which I just thought was brilliant. Yeah. But it almost feels like the Doctor's waiting for her to say something nice about him before he reveals himself.
Well, he keeps trying to reveal himself, and it just doesn't quite. She doesn't get it. She keeps being like, "Yeah, you're the surgeon. Yeah, I get it. Come on, let's go." It was quite almost sinister seeing River from that side, because I kind of get the thing. Obviously, for the Doctor, she puts on a brave face. Like when she broke her wrist with the Weeping Angels. It was very interesting hearing her talk about him so dismissively. But you also got to remember that she's talking to someone who's a complete stranger, so she's not going to tell him everything.
True.
That's my point. That's my point, Daniel. Like, she's not going to be who she is in front of a total stranger. She's going to put on a front, and she has to put on a front for all the double crosses and things she's trying to do anyway.
True. I don't know. I was wondering if it was going to go in a different direction. That I don't know, that she didn't love the Doctor, but then it didn't.
It didn't. No.
But no, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know the actor's name, but the bad guy who's the headmaster from The Inbetweeners. Oh
yeah, I know who you mean. Greg something or another.
Yeah, he's very tall and hilarious.
He is.
And he's very good. He's very good. We're basically, we've kind of been rambling for 6 minutes, so we probably should cover the story. So the Doctor gets pulled into one of River's heists, basically, where she's trying to remove a diamond from like a tyrant's brain. And hilarity ensues when it turns out he is actually just a head on a robot, and they steal his head and he's in a bag. And it was great fun, and I was a little bit worried when I saw Matt Smith popping up, because Matt Smith can be very good. Matt Smith
Not Matt Smith.
Not Matt Smith, sorry. Matt Lucas, sorry. Doctor Who frame of mind, my apologies, guys. Matt Lucas, I was a little bit worried because he's a bit hit and miss, but they actually kept him very restrained.
Indeed.
He wasn't allowed to go do lappy.
No.
And I did really enjoy that. Yeah, overall, I really, really quite liked it. I really quite enjoyed it. It was a bit too sad for me. I'm glad because we didn't see it on Christmas Day. I'm quite glad I did not see it on Christmas Day. It was a bit of that, you know.
But it had a lovely happy ending.
Problem is we know where it goes. This is the problem when you start with a story at the end. It's very clever storytelling wise, but you can't help but feel a bit sad about it. So I thought it was nice to see kind of a different side of the Peter Capaldi's Doctor, because it's like you say, he's the companion. It's quite a funny subversion of it, which I really enjoyed.
It was interesting, and it was it's fun to see him playing something else and playing a different kind of concern and love for someone. And when she's saying that, you know, he doesn't love me, he can't love me, blah 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 blah, and she's making that big speech, and you can tell that he does actually, care, that it does mean a lot to him. Because not only that, I mean, she's his last connection to Amy and Rory as well, and so of course he loves that and cares about that.
Yeah.
And for her, this is just after her parents have gone and are trapped in Manhattan as well. So it's interesting that both their endings sort of come so close together. And it was really, really good. And I think that if it had been Stephen Moffat's last Doctor Who script, it would have been a really good one to go out on. And he certainly left it. And if he had left, it would have been a very tidy way for him to leave everything.
He obviously has a good idea, because I felt like his first story arc with the Crack in Amy's Wall I thought was brilliant. I felt like all of his story arcs since then have been a bit not as good.
Oh, I don't think so. I like the one with the silence and the and all of that, and the Doctor's death and that sort of thing, and the fifth point. I really enjoyed all of that.
I thought it was a little bit too convoluted. It was enjoyable. It was enjoyable, but it was a little bit too convoluted for me. I just kind of feel like they obviously had a big up in their budget and were like, let's go to America, yay! But no, I just want to know what they're going to do next. Like, because we've got a new Doctor. Well, not really a new Doctor. 2 seasons worth of, but we've got a new Doctor with fewer memories. Well, we've got no companion, so we're going to get a new companion, or 2 or 3.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see where they go next. So, what do you think they're going to do then?
I hope they continue the 2-parters, because I think having always 2-parters is a lot of fun.
Yeah, because it gives. I mean, because that episode, I can't remember what it was called, but the one where they kept going back on their own timeline, and going back, to the underwater, and then
the underwater base, and then back again to when it wasn't underwater. I
really liked that. That was very, very clever, and you couldn't have done that in a 1-part story. So
I think they'll continue with the 2-parters, and I think they won't do what they've done previously, where they've split it up throughout the year. I think they'll keep it as one whole one whole series.
See, I didn't mind that so much, to be honest. It just meant I got the same amount, but over more time.
Kind of bugged me. Always bugged me. I'd like a guy companion.
I'd like an alien companion.
An alien guy companion. We've discussed this.
Yeah, I think because we've had all human companions, I think it would be quite interesting to have someone who wasn't human as a companion. I mean, obviously, they're not going to be incredibly alien, because obviously prosthetics or CGI would be too much. But I don't know, like a forehead bump.
A little bit of prosthetics wouldn't be that expensive.
A bit of prosthetics.
It'd be all right.
Maybe a symbol on their head. Maybe I don't know. Just something different, because I feel like we've had enough younger people. It'd be nice to have something, or maybe a robot, something just different.
Yeah, a different kind of companion.
Yeah.
But I know what everyone will say. Oh well, I know what the BBC executives would say. Oh well, you've got to have an Earth character, someone who's from Earth, someone the audience can identify with. To which I say, balderdash. Personally,
I think if you wanted to, balderdash, is that your new favourite word?
It's now become my new favourite word. I wasn't going to say balderdash, but I think
yeah. I think they could quite easily have an Earth character. If they want, because it follows form, could be a girl. They've had all girl companions pretty much.
Yes.
None of the male companions have been separate from the girls. Every single one has been a boyfriend, or they fancy the main companion. None of them have been.
Except for Jack Harkness, but then he fancies everyone.
So that doesn't count.
Yeah. Oh, they should bring back Jack Harkness just for fun.
I think him and Peter Capaldi would have an absolute ball together.
Yes.
I think it would be I just think Jack responding to the grumpiness
Yeah.
would be, because he'd just start flirting outrageously with him.
Yes, it would be good.
I think that would be quite fun, and then also that would give a kind of a foot in for Torchwood to come back as well.
At some point, should Russell Davies ever feel the need.
Which hopefully he will, because I think that's one of the best things he did with Doctor Who, really, was Torchwood.
But certainly Children of Earth.
That was very good. That was a very, very good series.
So
yeah, hopefully it would be nice to have Jack back. To be honest, I am feeling a little bit story arc saturated. I would quite like a series where there was no story arc, where it was just stories, just individual two-parters, which is a misnomer.
You almost have that with this last series, almost.
Well, you kept on having the hybrid brought up every now and then, but not enough for me to actually remember what it was. So in the last episode, I was like, what's the hybrid? And then you were like, oh, that thing that Missy mentioned in the first episode, and then got dumped every now and then. I would quite like one without it.
With no story arc?
With no story arc, no.
Just a sort of rambling adventures?
Just some random adventures. He picks up a couple of companions, and, you know...
Off we go.
Yeah.
All of time and space, everywhere and
exactly.
anywhere.
Story arcs are very important, but I'm feeling like they keep trying to up the ante with the story arcs, and I'm just feeling so saturated with it. It would be nice to just have a smaller crisis if we have to have a story arc, not the entire universe.
Yeah, something very personal.
Would be quite nice. So yeah, kind of a bit like what I was saying a bit about the Ant-Man movie, that it's not the whole world at peril, really. It's his family at the end of the day that's in peril, and that made it a lot more kind of intense and interesting.
Yes, this is true.
So I think either a really kind of contained story arc where it's not a world or the universe or a galaxy, maybe just a family, I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, this hasn't really been about the Doctor Who Christmas special. This is just a general ramblings about Doctor Who, really.
Doctor Who at the moment. This is our State of the Nation Doctor Who address.
I like that, State of the Nation Doctor Who address.
Congratulations for listening.
We've nearly got to 20 minutes, so I feel like we probably have.
We should be
rambled on. Should we do our grades on how many stars?
Out of 5.
For me, I think it's a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd say 4.5 because I really, really liked it, and I thought it had a lot of good moments and a lot of fun. And was, went down very well. I enjoyed watching it immensely.
Very well. Interesting characters.
Wonderfully written speeches.
Yeah.
A very nice ending. Yeah, it was great.
Tied up a lot of threads as well.
It did. It tied up a lot of threads, which means, everything's wide open for the next series. Wide open. When Peter Jackson comes in and directs his epic.
I'm looking forward to that.
You've all seen the YouTube video. Oh, I'm sure there will be.
I hope they're hobbits.
And a guest starring role for Orlando Bloom.
Or Orlando Bland. Or what does Camo call him?
Orlando Bland.
Orlando Bland. Yes, hopefully.
Yep.
Someone's got to keep him in work.
I think so.
Right, and on that note, we will leave you. So it's goodbye from Captain X.
And goodbye from Rogue One.